Hey guys, welcome to Juicy Tea, where I read out the best stories on Reddit, so you don't have to. The funny, the shocking, the satisfyingly juicy. Today we're looking back at your favourite Karen stories from this year. My parents think I owe them my entire paycheck because they raised me. Post by Asian Liner. I, 19 female, just landed my first full-time job after college. Congratulations! It's not glamorous, but it pays decently. And I've finally been able to move out. I was so proud of myself until my parents found out exactly how much I make. Out of nowhere, they started hinting that I should give back and help them pay their bills. At first, I didn't mind helping out here and there. I paid for the internet one month and sent groceries another time. But then it escalated. Last week, my mum called me crying because I didn't send money for her monthly support. I was confused. She told me that since they raised me, I owe them a return on their investment. Return on their investment? What are you, a stock portfolio? My dad then texted me a breakdown of how much they spent raising me and suggested a monthly repayment plan. I thought he was joking. He wasn't. They both kept saying that if it wasn't for us, you wouldn't be where you are. True, but does that mean that I now owe them 30% of my paycheck every month for the next few years? I love my parents, but I worked really hard to be financially independent. I have my own rent, student loans, and savings goals. I feel guilty, but also angry. I didn't sign up to be their retirement plan. Has anyone else dealt with this? How do you set boundaries without feeling like the ungrateful child? Oh my god, Obi's parents are hilarious. Having a child is a terrible financial investment. Having kids these days costs a ton. Here, let me Google this. Alright, in Australia, for one child, it costs an estimate of $13,000 to $30,000 every year, or $237,000 to $550,000 over 18 years. That's a lot of money. If you choose to have a kid, you're choosing to take on that cost. And no, they are not obligated to pay it back. That's generally why people don't see having a kid as a financial investment. If you want a return on investment, maybe try, I don't know, stocks, bonds, gold even, not a bloody baby farm. Opie should take Reddit's advice and ask her grandparents how much her parents paid them for raising them. Then come back and update us. My cousin thinks he deserves a cut of my salary because I got hired after talking job hunting in his living room. Post by Main Duction. A few months ago, I visited my cousin for a casual afternoon hangout. I just moved into my own place in the city and was in the middle of job hunting. Nothing serious, we were just catching up and talking about where life was heading. While I was there, one of his friends came over, and he seemed cool. The three of us ended up talking about careers, choices, timing, typical adult catch-up stuff. I happened to mention that I was looking for roles in a specific industry. It wasn't a pitch or a request, just part of the flow of the conversation. Apparently that friend remembered because a few days later, he reached out and said he might be able to connect me with someone hiring. I followed up, sent in my resume, went through the standard hiring process, that is, interviews, reference checks, the usual, and a few weeks later, I got the job. It was a great opportunity, and I was thankful that he helped connect me. My cousin said congrats at first, but soon enough, he started acting strange. He began saying things like, the job only happened because I was at his house when the conversation took place. He started hinting that he deserved something for it. He was blatantly suggesting a small cut of my salary every month. Then one day, he actually sent me his bank details and said that I should send him some money regularly since the connection came through his house. I never replied, and then I started hearing some awful things he's been saying about me behind my back to relatives and even some mutual friends. It still blows my mind that someone thinks they deserve money just because I talked about my goals in their living room. Oh my god, that is hilarious. Just jokes to his mutuals about how funny it is that he expects a cut of your salary just because he was in the general vicinity when you met the guy with the connection. Don't do a scratchy near him. He'll expect a cut of your winnings if he's too close. Healthy Brain says, if anyone should be getting a cut, surely it's his friend, no? Since the cousin did nothing but be there? And apparently OP did actually offer the friend something as a token of appreciation, but the friend declined. Someone else said, ask your cousin if you can get the friend's bank details, just to mess with him a little more. Entitled Mother thinks that I should give my diabetic snacks to her daughter. Post by X Jane Doe. So, I'm a type 1 diabetic, and in the morning, I went out for a bike ride. As I'm diabetic, I always bring snacks with me, just in case I go low or get hungry. I bring a juice box and a few granola bars, just enough for me to be able to correct my blood sugar level twice and have a small snack. As I was biking home, I passed someone sitting on the ground who looked kinda distressed. So I pulled over and asked if they were okay. The guy was a little younger than me and told me that he was diabetic. He explained that he'd gone low while biking, but had forgotten to refill the snacks in his bag before he'd left, so he was trying to figure out what to do. I offered him my snacks and to sit with him while we waited for it to go back up. I explained that I was also diabetic. After I'd sat down with him and given him some of my snacks, a woman came over and asked for my juice box for her daughter. I explained that I was giving him what I had because he was diabetic and had low blood sugar, and that I needed the rest to ensure that I could get home safely. She started to tell me that she and her daughter had been biking for hours, and she was hungry and just wanted my juice box and granola bar. I asked if her daughter was diabetic, and she said no. So I apologised and again explained nicely that I need those things for myself. This is the conversation that followed. Entitled Mother, so why did you give him some? Me, because he's diabetic and his blood sugar is very low. Entitled Mother, do you know him? Me, no, but as a diabetic, I know how dangerous lows can be. And if I was in his position, I'd hope a fellow diabetic would try and help me. Entitled Mother, so you don't know him. That's all she took from that? The conversation continued with her asking why I cared if I didn't know him, and me giving her the same explanation, until the guy rechecked his blood sugar. As it was still a little too low for comfort, I grabbed my juice to give to him, and this is when Entitled Mother tried to grab it out of my hand, saying that if his blood sugar was still too low, I should just call an ambulance, and then I can give all my snacks to her and her daughter. Oh my god, this lady's priorities! She is not some bike trail worker providing snacks to all the visitors. You are not entitled to her food. And even if this guy's health wasn't more important than her kid being hungry, which it absolutely is, it's her food. She can give it or not give it to whoever she pleases. God, the audacity of this lady. She doesn't know you either. At this point, I was honestly kind of pissed and told her to F off, and that as a mum, she should have thought to bring snacks for her daughter. If I hadn't come by, what would she have done? She went red in the face, called me a and stormed back to her daughter. The guy's levels went up and we parted ways. As I started to bike away, I heard the mum shout after me, calling me a bitch again. Lovely woman. Am I the a-hole for returning my nephew's birthday present after he destroyed my property and his parents refused to pay for the damages? I, 19 female, am a college student. I worked overtime to get everything that I have. I finally managed to buy myself a new car recently, which took 4 years of working overtime to afford. My nephew's birthday party is scheduled for tomorrow. I got him a present this week. I got him a brand new computer because he wanted to play computer games. My fiance also pitched in to help get the computer. Today, everything took a wrong turn. My nephew and his mother, my sister, were at my house. My sister doesn't like to discipline her son. I love my nephew, but at times, he's a spoiled brat. She lets him talk to people however he likes and do whatever he wants. I've tried to work with my nephew on this, and I've complained to my sister about his behaviour many times. But as his birthday was tomorrow, I try to ignore his behaviour, but honestly, I was fed up. My sister was outside with my nephew. He was playing in the yard. I figured since my sister was with him, I could go inside and start prepping for dinner. Then I hear a loud breaking noise outside. I rush outside to see what happened and saw that my windshield was shattered. I was in shock. I looked inside and saw a huge rock in the car. I was furious. We have cameras in our backyard and a dash cam in our car. I looked at the cameras to see that my nephew took a huge rock and threw it at the windshield. I was shaking because of how upset I was. I worked hard for that car. I asked my sister, why weren't you supervising him? And my sister said, I was. So what, she just watched him throw a rock at your car? Does she think that watching him destroy property counts as supervision? What happens if he runs into the road? Will she just stand there and watch? I said, if you were, you wouldn't have let him throw a giant effing rock at my car. How do you plan on fixing this? My sister looked at me like I was insane and said, you should have been out here watching your car if you were so worried about him causing damages. What kind of logic is that? The car didn't do anything. If someone went and burnt her house down, would she be all like, damn, well, I guess that was my fault for leaving it unsupervised. My fiance told her and my nephew to leave. An hour later, I went to the store and returned his computer. Luckily, I kept the receipt. A few hours later, my sister texted me, not saying sorry. She said, can you bring my nephew's gift to me today? I want to have all his gifts here ready for his birthday party tomorrow. I responded, no, I will not be bringing his gifts to the party. He damaged my car, which, by the way, will cost a lot of money to fix. You didn't seem to care that your son damaged property that wasn't his. So I returned his gift to get my money back, to pay for the damages, since you won't pay. My sister didn't text me back, but must have called our parents. They called to scream at me, saying that I made my nephew cry because he won't get a present from me at his party. Am I the a-hole? Edit. My nephew is 9, by the way. What a little monster! I actually feel really bad for these kids. It's not their fault that they aren't being taught consequences and, you know, basic human decency. I think kids like this have two paths. Either they grow and learn decency from others and distance themselves from their crazy mums, or they end up in jail one day when they can no longer get away with it for just being a kid. Not the a-hole. OP should take her sister to small claims court for the cost of the car, and I won't let her or her kid around my property ever again. Who wants to bet that OP's sister was the golden child? Entitled mother and her daughter ruined my sister's birthday. Post by Lady Stoneheart. Many years ago, it was my sister's birthday, and a lot of family members from my dad's side were invited. My dad's sister, who will be called Entitled Mother henceforth, and her daughter, Entitled Child, were visiting from the US. So, Entitled Mother wanted her daughter to be the centre of attention from the moment they came in. Entitled Child was about 7 years old, and everyone was quite taken with her because she spoke in an adorable accent. When it was time for cutting the cake, Entitled Mother wanted Entitled Child to cut it, even though it was my sister's birthday. The reason being, she's a kid and she deserves to cut the cake. She's the youngest, and sister is too old to be cutting cakes anyway. It was my sister's 11th birthday. My mother refused Entitled Mother's demand, which made Entitled Mother very angry. The dinner was served, Entitled Mother was very hungry and sat down to eat. As soon as she started, Entitled Child began crying and demanded to be fed. Entitled Mother expected my mum to stop eating and feed her kid. And my mum agreed. What? Why? It's her kid! Why can't she feed her own child? Then the gift unwrapping. My sister loves Barbie, so she received a doll and a dollhouse from my mum and dad. I gave her a bunch of homemade chocolates that I'd made myself. Entitled Mother. What does sister need chocolates for? Come on, give them to Entitled Child. You're way too old for them. What? No one's too old for chocolate. How dare she? Sister gave Entitled Child some of the chocolates, which Entitled Child immediately started eating right then and there. Sister then unwrapped her other presents and was made to share a bunch of other stuff, like sparkle pens and a set of crayons with Entitled Child too. Why are your parents allowing this? It's your sister's birthday. People gave those gifts to her, not to that spoiled Entitled Child. They're basically allowing this kid to steal from their own child on her birthday. I hate to say bad parents, but bad parents! Entitled Child soon began wailing that she wanted more chocolate. Entitled Mother literally started shouting, "Why haven't you given her the chocolates? Didn't I ask you to? Why are you being so mean? She's your cousin! She deserves them!" Sister was almost in tears and gave her 3 more. Nah, screw that. Put them in your mouth, chew them all up, and then spit them in her face. Just kidding. But seriously, this girl and her mother need to hear the word no. It would do them some good. Now only 5 chocolates remained, which she gave one to each of us, Mum, Dad, entitled mother and me. I saved mine to give to her later. Entitled mother noticed it and asked me to give it to entitled child, since I was obviously not gonna eat it. I didn't. When sister got to unwrapping the dollhouse and Barbie, entitled mother actually pounced on the doll and started pulling it away from sister. Oh hell no! Now sister started crying, which made entitled mother angry. She screamed at my sister to shut up and stop being so mean and stingy. Entitled child was from the US and didn't have any Indian toys. She needed the doll. Where the hell are your parents in all of this? This woman is attacking your child on her birthday, making her cry, stealing her presents, like ripping them out of her hands. And what, you're just sitting by and allowing this? What the hell? Bad parents! My father flat out refused, which resulted in more screaming and more crying. That's it. This woman, your sister, has been stealing your daughter's gifts on her birthday, made her cry, and now she's full-on attacking her. And your response is, no, you can't have it. God, if I was OP's mum watching this, I'd dry up like the effing Sahara. Dude, grow a backbone and protect your kid. Entitled mother left in a huff, kicking the dollhouse on the way out, denting it. My sister was very sad. Needless to say, her birthday was ruined. But this was not the end. About an hour later, entitled mother was back, kicking and screaming at our door, saying that we poisoned her kid and that she'd be suing us. Entitled child's stomach was aching, but instead of calling for a doctor, she'd driven to our house. We sat her down and called a doctor, during which entitled mother was screaming about how we were jealous of her and would suffer terrible fates. The doctor said that the pain was because of overeating. I guess she shouldn't have had 6 of those chocolates. Entitled mother blamed me and my sister for everything, saying that we're both spoiled and mean children. Oh, the irony. Too long didn't read. My entitled aunt ruined my sister's birthday by stealing most of her gifts to give to her kid, then destroying her dollhouse, and she blamed her child's stomachache on my family. To be honest, your sister's birthday being ruined is on your parents too. They literally sat there and watched, doing nothing, while a grown woman shouted at, berated, and stole their 11-year-old daughter's presents over and over again on her birthday. Maybe if they'd shut it down immediately, instead of just apparently sitting there and watching it happen as each gift was unwrapped, maybe it wouldn't have escalated to the point that it did. Update. I posted about my aunt ruining my sister's birthday yesterday. Turns out she or her daughter is on Reddit and read the story. And this is what happened last night. Entitled mum called my dad last night, when my dad was half asleep. Entitled mother, how could you do this to us? Aren't we family? Why did you shame us like this? It was so many years ago. Can't you just let it go? My dad, having no idea what she's talking about, asked her what happened. She told him about the Reddit post regarding my sister's birthday. My dad, who doesn't care, asked, what was the big deal? Entitled mother, wow, so your daughters do things without telling you? You should keep an eye on them. Don't want to let them get out of hand. You should have taught them manners. Manners? Oh, honey. OP just exposed us and shamed us online. Dad, what are you saying? How did she expose you? She hasn't talked to you in years. Entitled mother, she posted a story about us, and as soon as entitled child read it, she knew it was about us. Well, if she recognized it immediately, it must have been accurate. Dad asked me if I did post a story and why, so I explained to Dad what Reddit is and what I did. I told him that I had just narrated the story and haven't exposed her identity in any way. So Dad just handed me the phone so I could explain it to her. God, this dad is just useless. As soon as I said hello, entitled mother began screaming at me so loudly that it could be heard outside the phone. Entitled mother, you bitch! How could you do that? Who do you think you are? You poisoned my child, then made it up as if I was overreacting. Take that post down now and apologize for it on the subreddit. If you don't, I'm gonna sue you. God, I can just imagine her dad sitting there, listening to his sister abuse his daughter on the phone that he just handed her, like, this is fine. What the F? I was so angry that I just said no, I won't do that, and I'd like to see how you could sue me all the way from California. Until her mother then calls me and my sister a bunch of names that I cannot say on here. My dad took away the phone and told her to never contact any of us again, and blocked her. Yay! Finally! Oh my god. So, hey there Aunt Sheila, hope you read this. Am I the a-hole for letting my sister go thirsty through an entire meal? Post by Proof Strategy 2442. My sister does this thing where she'll just say something that she wants with the expectation that someone will do it for her. For example, if she wants the aircon turned on, instead of asking someone to turn it on for her, she'll just keep repeating things like, "Oh, isn't it super warm in here? Does anyone else feel really hot? I heard today is a super hot day." And if someone asks her if she wants the aircon turned on, she'll reply, No, I'm good, but if you're hot, then you should turn it on." Anyways, last weekend it was my birthday, so my family and I went out to celebrate. During the meal, she kept making comments, implying that she wanted another cocktail, but wouldn't order one. Wait, a cocktail? Are we talking about a person that's old enough to drink? I genuinely thought that we're talking about a 5-year-old. The waitress came by and asked if we needed anything, and she didn't order a drink, even when the rest of us all did. I could tell she was getting agitated at that point, but it was my birthday, so I ignored her. So everyone at the table ordered a drink, and when the waitress looked at her, she just ignored her, told her no, but expected everyone to order her a drink anyway? If someone ordered a cocktail for me when I've already told the waitress no, I'd think they were trying to get me drunk, like, what the F? When we all got home, she got really snippy and said that it was super rude that we all got our own drinks but didn't order one for her. Yeah? Did she order you guys any drinks? It wasn't even her birthday. Why is she so special? My brother and I brought up that she said no when the waitress asked, but she said that wasn't the issue. So she literally said no. At that point, it would have been straight up rude to order her a drink. In her opinion, we should have known to order her a drink too, because everyone else got one, and the fact that we let her go thirsty was inconsiderate. And in future, we ought to order her drinks too. I'd outright ask her why she doesn't order drinks for you guys. That's super inconsiderate, right? Especially given it's Opie's birthday. She also said that she only said no to the waitress because her family should have taken care of her. Her words, not mine. So, by her own logic, she doesn't take care of her family? Or is she just so helpless that her family must make all decisions on her behalf? If so, suggest getting legal guardianship in place for her, since she's so helpless apparently. The three of us have been arguing back and forth about it, and I'm just so tired of fighting. So I wanted to get some more opinions on whether or not I should have just ordered her a drink as well. Easy not the a-hole, but screw the fighting. I'd have fun with it and mess with her a little. Like, order her the weirdest thing on the menu, and if she protests, just brush her off and insist that you've got this. You'll order for her. Spicy snails and licorice cocktail it is. Anyways, that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. Have an amazing rest of your day. Bye!